I will try and speak very slowly so that maybe at a dictation pace so you can follow me. Thank you very much for your time. So we're here to speak about land and the acquisition of same and the registration of land and the legal regime regulating these in our country, Ghana. I will do this with particular reference to the church's lands. You can apply to yours mutatis mutandi as and how it applies to yours. In other words, so in other words, I will speak with particular reference to the church's lands and as and how it applies to yours. The rules and the principles still applies to yours as an individual. Are you on the same page? Yes. Thank you. And since we are in a church gathering, I will begin off by looking at the biblical quotation, 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 3. And it's an encounter between the king Ahab and Naboth. Now the answer that was given to Naboth, it's in verse 3, and that is my emphasis here. It says, but Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my fathers. I'm not saying don't sell your family lands, but I'm saying that if it's a church property, then the Lord forbid that we should share or sell a portion of it to anybody, not even the king. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? So if there's any attempt by anybody, howsoever described, to sell any portion of the church's land or to annex any portion of the church's lands, tell the person that God forbid. God forbid that not even the king would we allow to take even a grain of the church's lands. Thank you very much. On this biblical note, I will move straight into action. Now, we will begin off by describing or defining what a land is. Is my lady here? When I say my lady, we have a magistrate here with us, and I have to defer to her greatly. The law is usually in the bosom of the judges. So if she's here, I will defer to her with so much respect. Is she here? Oh, she's gone. I'm sad. There's a legal fiction that says that the law is in the bosom of the judges. So when they speak, it is law. So when they speak, we all follow them. So I wanted to defer to her in this circumstance. But since she's not here, I can pontificate for all I want. Now, land is described as that which is in the belly of the earth, that which is on the surface of the earth, and that which is in the airspace. I will repeat for the sake of emphasis and for my former parish priest, Monsignor Paul Awe. I repeat. It says, it is that a land is described as that which is in the belly of the earth, on the surface of the earth, and in the airspace. So when we are describing the territorial borders of Ghana, it includes our airspace. So if somebody wants to fly into Ghana's airspace, even though it is not on the land, the airspace is considered the land of Ghana. Now, the ground. Anything by way of minerals, howsoever described, in the belly of the earth does not belong to anybody. It belongs to the state called Ghana, being held in trust by the president for and on behalf of the republic. So if you sell a portion of your land to me, measuring this, it does not include that which is buried in the belly of the earth by way of minerals. It belongs to the president and for the Republic of Ghana. Are we all here? Up until now, I'm speaking very slowly, right? Thank you. Now, so what you are actually buying is the surface and perhaps the airspace up to a point. So you can say, oh, this is my house, so I decree that no airplane should fly above me, please. So that is by way of description or definition of a land. Now, you can say, okay, I sold my land to him, but I did not sell the crops thereon. It's not correct. So land includes that which is, and on top of it. What is this? So if I sell my land to you, presumably, in the absence of any further evidence, what that means is that I'm selling to you the land and that which is on top. Now, what law regulates land and land transactions in Ghana? The current law that regulates is what we call Act 1036. In fact, at first we have all the laws of Ghana with respect to land in different and various legislations, but now the Act 1036 has brought all of them together, so we have in one law everything that has to do with land. Now, there are various interests that one can acquire in the land. That is what I will begin with. The first one is what we call a Alodia title holder. Alodia is spelled A-L-O-D-I-A-L. Alodia, A-double-L, sorry. A-double-L-O-D-I-A-L. Alodia title holder. That title is actually held by only the chiefs. Now, before I get to the various titles, let me describe it this way. Now, so we have different types of lands in Ghana. Now, if you go to the Achim areas, all the lands in Achim, when I say Achim, I mean Ibuakwa and then Bosome. And then Kutuku. So Kutuku, Ibuakwa, Bosome. All the lands, if you are buying alien land under those areas, you are not buying the land. What you are acquiring is a leasehold. Are we all there? Are we all there? I want a feedback. Better. That's better. Now, you are acquiring because then the law already 1969, the Constitution of Ghana prescribes the absolute sale of any stolen land. So from 1969, you cannot have an absolute sale of any stolen land because the reversionary interest, what I mean by the reversionary interest is that after the expiry of the leasehold, the land reverts back to the original owners and they can enter into a negotiation with you going forward as to the price they want to sell it again to you. Are we on the same page? So that is the land system. The first one is the lands which are stool lands. And I've indicated also that all Achim lands, Bosome, Kutuku, and then Ibuakwa, all their lands are stool lands. Now, The Krobol areas, they have family lands. They might have clan lands, and they have individual lands. Now, so that if you are buying a land in the Krobol area, you have to buy it from a family and not from the stool. Unless the property or the land is a land that is attached to a particular stool which you are sure of. Am I making sense? So let's say I'm buying this parcel of land from the family at Madam, or maybe like Krobol area. The stool cannot sell that land to me. It is only the families that can sell the land to me. Now, I'll give you an example. In the Krobol areas, in the very, very, very old indentures, you have the stool purporting to sell the land to the church. And then the family that are on the land, that before the land were sold, are referred to as consenting parties. It is wrong. I've had to tell the paramount chief of Duma said that, look, that is dead wrong. And hence he stopped doing that kind of thing. So in the Krobol areas, if you are buying a stool land, you are buying the land, you cannot buy a stool land, you can only buy it from the individuals on the land. That makes it very dangerous. Because they sell it and then they are gone. Their children will come tomorrow and say, oh, our parents never sold any land to you. And the third category of land we have is what we call the vested lands. The vested lands are the lands in Koforidua, proper Koforidua, and portions of Nkoko. And EI actually creates what we call the vested lands. So if you are buying a land in Nkoko, I would beg that you go and do due diligence before you buy it. It is difficult getting a lawyer to do it for you. It is not difficult, but it's expensive, but it's a way to go. So in Nkoko, so if you go and buy a land in Nkoko that is considered as a vested land area and go and buy it from the Obomin chief, don't worry. It's a case I'm handling currently that both parties bought it from the Obomin chief, and one's title is earlier in time. So the law is that when the equities are the same, the first in time takes precedence over the second. I guess you get what I'm saying. Yes. So if we are all buying it from the same person, the person who bought it first has a better title than the second. Now both of them bought it from the wrong person. The second person who bought it now got to know that it's a vested land, came to the Lands Commission and had title. So now who has it? Now the proper person to sell it is the Lands Commission. That is the statutory body mandated to sell and deal with all state lands. Now, if it's a stool land, and it's a stool that is selling the land to you, make sure that the occupant of the stool is the one signing the indenture for you. If I were you, don't just, oh, Father, I'm in your indenture. I've had in court to interrogate the chief and ask him, were you the one who signed it? He said, I didn't sign it. Usually they'll print the document and bring it to you. So you're not there to see the person signing it. How sure are you that it was signed by the chief? Are we all there? Bring your mind to the church. This one is not yours. People are thinking about their lands and I don't understand. Let's think about the church, at least for now. You know. So if you are buying from the chief, then the chief must sign it. If the chief signs it, it is not the chief alone. The chief must sign it, and he must have the consent and the concurrence of the principal elders of the stool. Are we all there? Are we sure? Yes. So if the chief signs it alone, clearly he cannot sign it alone because the land is not owned by him alone. It is owned by the stool, and he acts together with and with the consent of the stool. Now, if it's a family, like the Krobol areas, then it should be the head of, and read my lips, it is the, is the what? The head of family with the consent and the concurrence of the principal elders of the family. If it's a vested land, then it ought to be sold to you by the Lands Commission, and the regional lands officer must sign. I've had indentures that were brought to me. Now, we have the site plan. This is what we'll call legally the cadastral site plan. You're very familiar with it, not so? Are you? Are we familiar with this? Yes. Now, the site plan ought, I read my lips, I say it with so much emphasis, ought to be signed by a licensed surveyor and countersigned by the regional land surveyor without any alteration on it. Am I making sense? Yes. So if they are written something here and they use a felt pen or maybe a Tipex to clean it, it doesn't make, it's not valid. It must have no alteration on it whatsoever. Now, if it is a state land, then it is a state land that was acquired by the state for a specific reason. Now, if it was acquired by the state for a specific reason, and that reason is no more relevant, then the family from which the state acquired the property should be given the first right of purchase. In other words, this land belongs to my family. The state compulsorily acquired it, and compensations were duly paid to my family. And it was meant for GBC office. GBC says that we don't need the land again. GBC would have to give my family the first right of purchase or the first right of refusal. If my family said, oh, then the state can now sell it to anybody who is an individual developer. I'll give you an example. You know the Accra, the wireless area. The state, purportedly sold some land to some individuals, and the family took, and then the stool took the state to court. Said, no, you can't do that. The law is clear. The Supreme Court came out emphatically and said that, look, clearly, if it's a family that the state got it from, then the first right of refusal have to be from the family. Up until now, any question? Yes, sir. I can barely hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned allodial owners and all that. So when you buy a land from the Achim area, the years, how many years? Okay. I don't know whether you get my question. I get it. Yeah, so how many years will it take for it to be reverted to the owner for renegotiations?
All right, I'll answer that one. I'll get back. Now, it depends on the purpose for which you are buying it. It depends on who is buying it. If it is a body that is not a national of Ghana, or if the law says that a non-Ghanaian citizen cannot acquire more than 60 years in a lease. A non-Ghanaian. But of course, you see, Ghana, so crooked. People will come and front for the non-Ghanaian. We have a problem in this country, trust me. Now, so a non-Ghanaian cannot get more than 60 years. But, you see, if you want to hide something from the Ghanaian, put it in the book. Look, it is not a foregone conclusion And if you are getting from the stool, you are going to get it 99 years. No. There is no law that says that if it's a stool land, it should be 99 years. It said it should be a lease. In fact, a lease can be 100 years, 1,000 years. People bring their indentures under the impression that it is 99 years. I read through it, it's 45 years, 60 years. So it is what you sign up to, which is the agreement between the two parties. If you read the indenture very well, it says, the parties hereby agree that A, B, C. So as for the Ghana man, just write it there. He will not even read it. Okay. It's like Assembly. Assembly there, he will come first. And then we'll come back to you for. So there is nothing blanket, but read the indenture. In fact, the law says that the indenture ought to be prepared by a lawyer, not a surveyor. Many of you will have your documents brought to you by the surveyor, signed, stamped already. There are so many errors. If you look at the covenant and then the stipulations in there, there are so many errors in there. But we'll get there. The church first. We're talking about here. Let us bring our minds back. So, yes, Roman sister.
Please, my question is on the lands for institutions.
Yes.
So that a family has leased a land for you for 50 years.
Yes.
And then within the 50 years,
yes,
another family comes in and says that the first family that leased the land for you was not an authorized family, that the person was adopted, and so he's not a family member. And you, in charge of that institution, doesn't know the family members. How do you go about searching?
Nice one. I think I can get the story you're talking about. I have it. Now, see, if you are buying a property, as I said, do what we call, I'm trying to tell us the categorizations of the land, so that you know if you are buying a land from a particular area, you know where you're going to. I'll give an example. I will answer you pretty shortly. If I am buying a land from maybe Atakwetia, and the land, it is not the chief who is selling the land to me, but somebody who has bought the land from the chief and is going to register it and is selling it to me. In fact, I am only buying the unexpired period of the term as stipulated on the leasehold of that first person. Are we all there? So, if you are buying a property for maybe 60 years, and kind of 30 years, but what we say, after 30 years, you have to buy it again. So, let's read the things. So, since I'll get back, so I bought a land. In fact, there's a principle called nemo dat quod non habet. It's a Latin expression which finds its way into law. What that means is that I cannot give what I don't have. So if the person says that I bought this land and the institution has been on it for all these years, you never came up, and then you only slept, and then you woke up one day and said, oh, then you come. Say, well, the person who sold it to you doesn't have the title to sell it. Our advice, the sisters or the priests who are each other, don't mind them. Let them take us to court. We will come. What that means is that if the law says that if somebody is sleeping on his rights, don't wake him up. If he wakes up after some number of years and says that, oh, it was mine, but I was asleep, oh, then go and sleep. Won't mind you. So once you have accepted interest and right proprietary interest over the property for that long time, there's something we call in law, you are an adverse possessor. Even though it wasn't yours, by equity it has not become yours because he was sleeping. Don't wake him up. Manenda. I hope you have answered it. So they will come and they'll be acting funny. Never mind anybody. If they know what they want, they can go to court. And that's what we do for a living. We'll come. Yes, sir.
So, Father, this is a little advice I wish to give to my brothers and sisters from the outstations. I know you know the issue of Adoso.
I do.
Those of you who are in the outstations, if you are in need of buying a land, I wish you discuss it with your parish priest. Because I'm saying this from the experience that I have in one of the outstations of Latte, Adoso. A family member sold a portion of a land to the church even many years before my goodness. A family member sold a portion of the land that belongs to Presbyterian Church, and the church used that land as a cemetery. Then last year, the Presbyterian Church came up that all the land that they have at Adoso, which has been encroached by so many people, with schools built on it and so many other things, they were going to claim their land. And the church, unfortunately, bought that land from a family member. The family that sold the land to the Presbyterian Church. A member of the family sold that portion of the land to the church. So they called us. Father was there. We met them, and what happened, I believe Father can describe. It wasn't easy. To cut everything short, the demands from the Presbyterian Church was such that it was better for us to buy a new land. And that's exactly what we have done. So those in the outstation, if you want to buy any land, please inform your parish priest. And I'm sure, I don't know when the land was, when it was bought. And from all indications, the priest who was there at the time did not even know that the church has bought a land from the Presbyterian Church. That is my little contribution advice.
Thank you very much. My other concerns about these other outstations is that now we think that the outstations are remote. So nobody cares about those lands there. My former boss, may God rest his soul, Sir Stephen Asantianson, he says the population of Ghana is increasing, but the land space of Ghana has not increased by a grain of sand. So what that means is that there will be scramble for the lands. So at a point, the church may be in Apredi, and that chance was an outstation. We did not care about the lands there. Nobody will even go and fight over a grain of sand in Apredi. Now Apredi is a parish. People are encroaching. Parishioners are there. They've seen that something is happening. Remember, Kings chapter 21 verse 3. It says, I got it from my fathers and I cannot sell it. We'll get back to the fine details about those ones pretty shortly. Now, oh boy, last one, then we'll continue. Thank you.
Okay, still about the outstation.
Yes.
Where I'm coming from, some years ago, the church bought a land from a sister church, which they also bought the land from a family.
If you don't mind, mention the church.
St. Anthony, New. Okay, the church, I've forgotten the church.
No, your parish.
St. Anthony, New Pope.
Okay, all right.
And New St. Jean.
I know.
So they bought the land with the help of the church. The land was registered in the name of our church. When the time came for the church to develop the landowner said no, they didn't sell the land to the church, so they won't allow. As of now, nobody has been able to develop the land. Because when you go to the Lands Commission, it's the name of the church that is there.
Which church?
St. Anthony Church.
So you registered in the name of St. Anthony Church?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the landowners or the family members can also not sell the land. So what can we do as a church so that we can develop the land? The land is there. They can't sell it, and they are not allowing us also to develop it. So what can we do as a church?
Two things quickly from your comments. Two things. And I say, please let us all listen, and I wish my brother priest were here. Please listen. Nobody should go registering any church land in the name of a particular church, at least not for now. Let me repeat myself for the sake of emphasis. I'm from Holy Trinity Parish, Agomenya. The parish bought a land for an outstation, let's say New Akomwase. And they say Sacred Heart Parish or Sacred Heart Catholic Church, New Akomwase. Sacred Heart Parish does not have a legal personality, cannot own land in its own name, and is proscribed from owning land. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
In this case,
I hope I'm making myself clear. You know, by my training, I can get my higher, I can come back. But what I'm saying is this. Now, you need to be a legal person to be able to own a land. I'll give you an example. Holy Trinity Parish, Agomenya, God has a land that is meant for a technical school just at Agudumase, the market down there. And the land was registered in the name of Holy Trinity Parish, Agomenya. We are in court, and the lawyer is raising concerns about that. He said, look, Holy Trinity Parish, Agomenya does not have legal personality and cannot own land. And he's right. The danger is that we might lose the land. But of course, we fight it hard at it. So that's the first comment I'm passing about yours. So, St. Anthony Church, so everything, at least for now, should be in the name of the registered trustees of the Catholic Diocese of Koforidua. Some of my brothers brought some of these indentures to me and I threw it off. That's to go and do it twice. And that is money. And I wish they were here. Number 2. I should repeat the whole show or what again? So what I'm saying is this. So the legal person that holds this property, or all church properties, at least what the canon lawyers will say, the temporal goods of the church. My Lord, you are welcome. The temporal goods of the church. The proper person to hold these properties is the bishop plus some other 2 trustees. Now, those trustees, you don't have their names on the end. So we have, the name is the registered trustees of the Catholic Diocese of Koforidua. At best, into bracket, St. Anthony Catholic Church. At best. So that is referable to the parish specifically. But the parish specifically, in law, has no legal personality. Are we all there? Number 2, if it was registered in the name of the parish. Now, in law we say possession of a property. It's when you are possessing a property, it's not like you are carrying it on your head and holding them. But once the property is one registered in your name, or if not registered in your name, but you are in occupation of the property, properly so-called, 99%, the law says that it is yours. Unless somebody with a better title comes, say to you that, look, barring the fact that you are in possession, I have a better title and that I need to dispossess you to have the land for myself. So if, and I'm saying if, because I'm hearing you and I'm proffering the suggestion because of what you are telling me. I don't know. So if what we are saying is anything to go by. What I said is that once it is in our name registered, that is one. Once we've been in possession, that is two. Once we've been in possession for all these years, please go ahead. Do something about it. If anybody comes in, we'll come up. Unfortunately, people, some of these indentures that had the names of, and it's very predominant around the Krobo areas, unfortunately, were acquired by the church, and then you have the catechist, some of the catechists signing as, and then the pastor, the parish priest. It's a problem. I said them my. Last one, then we'll proceed from there, please.
I want to know if this has to do with land that are acquired recently or all lands of the church.
Now, we are speaking prospectively. What I mean is that we've been able to diagnose a problem, and we know that, okay, this is how far we've come. So prospectively, going forward, if you want to acquire any property, please let us know about it. Please. In the name of God, I beg you. Let's know about it. Maybe. All right, let me hazard that one. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Please, my question has to do with... I want to please ask whether the conversation is to a specific location within the country, because you made reference to Krobo, Achim, and then Eastern region. So I want to know whether it cut across the whole country or it's for a specific region.
All right.
Thank
so you need to know it's not specific, because I'm speaking with particular reference to our diocese, and I began by stating that very clearly. I'm speaking to our diocese, but if you want me to do the extrapolations, I can do the extrapolations. Okay. But for the sake of this gathering and discussions, please let us stick to what parameters we have been given by my bosses, and so we don't do too much of talking. Thank you. So the Lands Act is clear that if you are buying any land from any of these areas, one, they say that it is important for you to do what we call due diligence. Due diligence includes the following, but not limited to them. When I'm speaking, I know why I'm saying what I'm saying. I said it includes these, but not limited to them. One, go pick the points and do a search. The Lands Commission. Two, speak to the boundary owners. Three, ascertain who is the proper person to sell to you. I'll give you an example. Recently, a land at Oda. Please forgive me if I give examples. We're going to buy a land and they want to pay. And Oda does not have a chief now. At least if there's a chief, there's a problem over the chieftaincy thing. And with the Queen Mother who signed it for them. Clearly, they don't have anything. Montori. People, are you hearing what I'm saying? So, you might do the search. Yes, it belongs to the stool. It falls under the stool. That is one. You might be sure that, okay, these are the boundary owners. Oh, I mean... But if the person selling it is not the right person to sell it, you pay money, but money will go for nothing. So if you have the property, please let us tread cautiously before we buy them. Now, for instance, if you are buying land from the team areas, which are stool areas, I will buy it from the family directly farming on the land. Let me begin from here. So if you are a native of any area and you reduce a particular portion of land to your use, the chief cannot dispossess you of it unless you agree to it. Am I speaking too fast? But it's as if you guys didn't catch me up. Did you? Yeah, with me. Are you? I will repeat. So let's say I'm from Chia. Now I'm a native of Chia. I've reduced an unoccupied portion of the land in Chia for my use, farming on it. Forgive my tree, it's terrible. Now, so I've reduced this portion of the land to my use. The chief cannot say that, but if I want to sell it to a third person or another person, the chief, it is who must sign the indenture for the person. So I will buy it from the person who is in occupation and go and see the chief to sign the indenture for me. And then obey it. Are we all there? So when he signs it, he will take for signing, but for your documentation, it is good to have that one. Now, when you buy it, please make sure that you take a receipt and let the indenture be signed for you also. If you are buying or you have an interest in land more than 3 years, then you need to have a document, or it must be evidenced in writing. That's what the law says. I hope I'm making sense to you. For I'm going to say, no, say, oh, receipt now, yes, in 4 years now. What shows that you bought the land? What shows that he took the money? What shows that he is the one who sold it to you? So going forward, yes, Massa. Yes, sir. Yes. 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 So if you bought the land, in fact, prospective from 2010, oh no, 2020, sorry, 2020. If you are buying the land from the family, as I said, even if it's a family land, clan land, you only have a leasehold. So if I bought it from your family for perhaps 99 years, and then I have been on the land for 10 years, and I'm selling it to another person, I am only selling what we call an assignment, not a lease again. Because in the indenture, you must reference the first head lease in an agreement between this person made on this date, whereas the parties agree. Whereas in the recitals, you must indicate that there is a head lease contingent upon which you are giving the unexpired period of yours to that person. Then, on the expiry of the 99 years as on the head lease, the reversionary goes back to the family, not to you. Are we all there? So, see. Yes. Yeah, I'll continue.
In the scenario you were given,
Yes.
a family owns certain portion of land where they weed and farm on it.
Yes.
You are making me
In which area, please?
Kere.
No, what I'm asking is that when you're asking the question, situate it within a particular area, so that I'm able to proffer views to you. So that I know that if it's a Krobo area, this is what applies there. If it's an Achim area, this is what applies there. So I'm able to help out in the situation.
Thank you, Father. You said the chief don't have the right to take the land from the family who were owning that
without your consent.
Good. Now, if the family doesn't have any document,
once they are natives of the area,
yes,
and they have reduced the space to their particular use,
yes,
the chief cannot unilaterally dispossess them of what is theirs.
Thank you.
Now, so let's make progress. Let's make progress. So if you are buying a land, and I'm speaking here particular reference to the newly created stations. We thought that maybe they were our stations, so we didn't pay so much attention to them. And if you are here from any of those stations, please let us act together. What I mean is this. Let us many of those places, we don't have even the site plans on the lands. We don't have even indentures on them. So it is important that we now, one-on-one, we sit down and we see if we can draw the lines. In fact, the parish priest or the priest in charge of Buebia now came and we sat down. All these outstations are under him. We checked our document, and some of them, about 6-7 of them had no document. So we are now taking steps to have the site plan drawn, then indenture prepared, then we can go ahead with the registration. Now note that I indicated that a site plan ought to be drawn by a certified surveyor, countersigned by the Director of Service at the Lands Commission, and the indenture properly so-called prepared by a lawyer with a stamp at the back. So you note the deed of lease between Solomon Amponsa, head and lawful representative of the Amponsan family of Edukro. Are we all there? Of Edukro. So we have described the family, and we are saying that he is indeed their head. Now, in the document, we also describe that, yes, it says, which expression shall admit and requires his successors with the consent and the concurrence of the principal members of the said Amponsan family of Edukro. That is what it is, that is meant for registry. That is the indenture. So when all this is done, then we will have, as I said, in registering it, then the proper parties should be indicated. If it's a lease, then we have the lessee and the lessor and the lessee. The lessor being the person selling, and the lessee means the person who is buying. If an assignment, assignor and assignee. Now, when the document is prepared by the lawyer, the terms and the covenant well stipulated, then it is now meant for signing or registering it at the Lands Commission. What is done is that a registrar of deeds will have to sign the back after the parties have signed. So once the registrar, usually it is the registrar of the courts, he will sign. And then when that is signed, because then one of the parties who is a witness to the lessor would indicate that I, Michael Numekevor of house number this, make oath and say that on this day I saw the head of family by name sign this document. Then it is ready for registration. The registration at the Lands Commission does not take a day. In fact, sometimes it can take almost a year. But you see, unfortunately, but a problem is that people are in the Lands Commission paid by the state doing their private jobs for individuals and will not do their core duties. And it's difficult to go and stand there as a priest and go and be paying bribes. Oh, you know, how do you account for that one? So you want the right thing to be done, let it go through the process, and you have to be going up and so it doesn't take a day. So you deliver it at the CSAU, the client's unit, and then it goes through the process. At a point, they will come and do what we call valuation. They will charge you. The men who will come, they will charge you. Sometimes they will not even give you receipt. So for that person will know that, okay, Father, I say, okay, bring 1,500. As and when I need money, I'll let you know. Then the process, so they can do the valuation. Then the Lands Commission meets, the commission itself meets about 3 times in a year. So then they go ahead with the registration processes. In fact, what it's done in the eastern region is not a registration of the land, but a registration of the deed. What that means is that it is this document as that is registered. Accra and other places in Accra, what they do is they say land title registration. That one registers the land. I hope I'm making myself clear. Okay, the difference is this. The difference is that if you go to the Lands Commission and you Accra, for instance, this land, if it is registered, it is in the name of Father George Yeboah. And if it's in his name, he has the land title. The land title means that he is actually entitled, or the land title is over and above what we have in this area of our country. So you have, I give an example. The church has a land around Pebiase. Now, we have our land and we bought it 1995, registered in 1996. We have been in occupation since then. Somebody has been able to register a portion of our land in his name. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. That will scarcely happen in Accra. Because in Accra, they will do the plotting. So let's say that this land belongs to Father Michael. Once it's registered in my name, it is plotted in the town sheet of the area. So they have done what we call, they've taken the area view of the entire place. So once they plot it, unless that is deleted, there is no way they can have an added land that is taking a portion of mine. Not so in our area, in the eastern, in eastern region. But that registration in Accra takes parts of Accra, parts of Kumasi, and parts of central region. In fact, they were doing it, replicating in the whole country, but they couldn't finish the entire country, and they stopped. That's like what is done in our area now is a registration of the deed. The deed is this, and not the registration, or not the land title properly so called. Are we all there? So now what they have done that is a little bit closer to what happens in Accra is that when you send your document and they've done their registration, they do what we call a plotting. They will plot it. They will plot your land in the area. But the difficulty is that they can have, like, let's say Koforia, for instance, they have about 4 town sheets. So the 4 town sheets, they can plot yours on one town sheet. They will not plot it on the other one. And they will go and plot it at somebody's one that is on yours. I don't know that you get what I'm saying. So on one land, they have plotted about 4. I'll give you another example. Many of our lands as a church were registered when we had the layout site plan. Now the layout site plan has a huge margin of error as compared to the GPS that we have now. People, are you following what I'm saying? The GPS is the cadastral. The margin of error in the cadastral is very little. So you can go and do a search with your old site plan and you see nothing in your name, even though your document is registered so many years ago. And it happens to us because we have documents that are 1948 registered. But those documents have not been plotted. So I'm dealing with a case from PPS, is it PPS? Abetifi. Abetifi had 140 something acres of land. People have encroached. And we say that enough is enough. So beyond this encroachment, nobody should go further again. So we are going to pick the points again, and we are doing what we call a deed of variation. So we are varying what was originally registered that was not plotted. So that in this new deed of variation, we have it registered again, and then we have it plotted. So that if anybody goes to do a search, our names will be there. Are we all there? So that is the difference between the formal way and the new way. Now, I'll proffer one view. And my view is this. Regardless of the outstation, in fact, outstations will grow tomorrow to become parishes. So if you are serving on the pastoral council, let us say, let it go down well with us. That outstation and their land issue should be our problem. So that even if we cannot build a wall, we don't have the money to build a wall. In fact, we don't have money to build churches. So we can't build a wall. Let us do something to preserve the land. I'll propose one, if not two. Look, when you plant trees, the linear way around your land is enough notice to the whole world that this land belongs to somebody. And the law admits it. Coconut has become a thing of our day. So let the house stations know. Now look, coconut trees, one is 20 cities, 25 cities. If each, say again. Okay, now if each person can donate one coconut tree for that house station, plant it, water it, make sure that it grows on the fringes of the land, we would have preserved our land. Remember I said that occupation is 99% ownership. If the trees are planted linearly on the fringes of the land, it will tell any diligent observer that these trees did not grow out by themselves, that somebody intentionally and consciously planted them. I worked for a while at St. Rose's Senior High School. And so Rose's Senior High School, at the point when the sisters were there, they made the workers be at the fringes of the... In fact, they actually built properties for the workers at the fringe so that nobody will now encroach. Anybody who comes beyond that, they're encroaching. But I've told my authorities that we will not give our lands out to anybody again. If you give it to them, they will put their kiosks on it. Tomorrow their sons will come out and they will say that so I've told my senior brothers and my junior colleagues that look, nobody should give any church land to anybody, not even to put a kiosk on it. So if they tell you, it's not they who is telling it. It's not they who is telling them to you, but it is an order coming from my good self. One of our lands, as I've said, and I need to say it emphatically here also, that sometimes because our documents were not prepared by, lawyers, there's some discrepancies in our documents. So I've asked that nobody should give any of our documents to anybody unless I so authorize. Because they'll go and take it and the lawyer will just open and say, hey, Charlie, okay, where from so? Okay. Then they will finish us. I said no. So my dear brothers and sisters, it is our inheritance. In fact, some people suffered and they toiled to get them for us. We cannot give it out to anybody. Remember Naboth? It is our inheritance. We cannot give it out to anybody. And we have to protect it with our lives. Remember, if Aprade is now a parish, that outstation of yours can also be a parish one day and would need the land. My boss, may God rest his soul again, he says, land is the only thing that you need even in life and in death, unless your body is cremated and your ashes thrown on the sea. Even when your ashes are burnt, they are burnt on the land. So we cannot toy with it. I mean, we cannot. Particularly when we are an institution, we will die. Our children would inherit it, and they must protect it till thy kingdom come. Yes, sir, in Bima.
Father, we have 2 lands.
What do you mean?
At Joseph Parish.
Uh-huh.
One at Akavenya.
Yes, sir.
And one at Okrasi. These 2 lands, I think the time they were procured.
Agavenya.
Yes.
There, where the school is.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Kwasi. True. True.
Please be. I have a very good picture of all these things.
Yes, Father, it's true.
Yes.
Uh-huh. We even planted
The tick.
The tick.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So it looks like the predecessors of our pastor.
Yes.
Didn't leave the documentation behind.
Yes.
And currently the residents and other people are all aware that this land actually belongs to our church.
Absolutely.
But as we speak, documentation to get it regularized has become a problem. So what do we do?
You see, we are between the hard rock and the devil, and I'll explain. If we are now going for a new document, who will sign for us? If we are now going for the new document, we will at best get a lease and not a conveyance. Which means that the reversionary interest will get back to the family. And if this was done timeously, would have gotten a conveyance. But the good thing for us is this: we are in occupation. We have thick trees on it. The whole community, I was there last week, the whole community know that it is ours. Just that, Ajiso Parish, the man who is directly in charge of it does not go there regularly. So the area boys who smoke weed do the smoking there, and they are defecating in the whole area. That's our problem. I was there last week, Saturday. You understand? So, if we are in occupation, that is a good thing for us. I mean, we just enjoy it. The whole area knows that it belongs to us. We have thick trees on it. That's how come I'm saying that I'm proposing strongly. And if you're not doing anything on our land, let us plant commercial trees on it. At least we'll get something by way of money, and we are protecting our land in like manner. Please. Sure.
Because the requirements, you ask you to provide your indentures or whatever before developing the place. If you don't have all those documents, how can such a thing?
So it can be, see, okay, so now if there's a legal regime that says that there should be a permit before the permit is granted for you to actually develop the place, you need those documents. There's a way we can go around it. We have the document and we have misplaced them. Yes. Yeah, we have the document and we don't have them. We have misplaced them. I mean, it's not a matter of life. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Father, praise I'm from Holy Trinity Parish, Agomena.
Okay.
And in your submission, you mentioned the land at Odumase, down there. And I'm much concerned about that land.
Yes.
Because I used to farm on that land.
Yes.
when I know the land belonged to the church. And it was about some few years when a man came that the land belonged to their family, and they started scattering everything over there. And I was even among the first people who report this issue to the church.
Yes.
So it is today that I heard you mention about it.
Yeah.
I'm much interested in that land.
I am also.
I'm much interested. And based on the statement you have made right now, it means we are not, if we don't work, if we don't fight hard, it means that land will not be ours.
No, look, I was trained by the church. I lived my life for the church. I would die for it. We are in court. Don't worry. Look, see this. See this. I was a little boy, and I visited that land when I was a little boy. And Father Clement, those days, I recall so well. And I know people who went, people went to study, and one guy went to study in Israel and came to farm on the land. I remember that well. You understand? But we don't have any problem about it. You see, I did a search at the Lands Commission in respect of that land. Before I actually go to court, we don't go to court before you begin to look for evidence. I did a search at the Lands Commission. The Lands Commission says that it is not plotted. The Lands Commission. So they've asked for the hard copy of our registered document. I've sent it to them. They are now plotting ours over the whole general scheme of the area. So you see, we don't rush. It's good to take your time and go steadily but cautiously. So we are on it. Never mind. We'll be fine.
Please, I was left behind here by my PP because of Abitifi.
All right.
You mentioned it.
I did, yes.
Okay. Please, how far with our documents?
Okay. So now we have prepared the deed of variation. And the deed of variation will have to be registered at the Lands Commission. But I've indicated to Father, look, you know what? As in the absence of that, they
are still encroaching.
You see, I was there. Where the chief built his house, okay, the top there is all empty and all vacant. Till today. The top there coming from where the guys have put their kiosks in front there. Nobody is there. So what can we do? Can we plant things at least at the fringes as a remedial step? Because you know what? If I send that indenture to the chief right now, I have problems with him for him to sign. Because he himself has an interest in the property. So before I do that, I should have, I told Father countless times. The chief that is having problems with me, I'm going back with the deed of variation to him again, to sign the document for me again. You understand? So, what we have left, let us do something and protect it, at least by our own energies. Then he would have no means and say that, oh, we made it. But if you allow the land to be vacant, they will encroach. When it happens that way, we'll always be in court. Tomorrow we are in court. Next week we are. Every day we'll be in court. Is that the way to go? No. Let us be proactive. And it goes to all of us, my dear Synod fathers. I beg you with the message of God. Let us be proactive about some of these things.
Father, my next question is this. From your narrations...
Aren't we hungry?
Father, from your narrations, it seems to me that most of our lands, as a church, we are not taking steps to secure them.
I wouldn't say most.
Excuse me. The reason I'm saying this is that from your own narrations, is most of our lands are being encroached upon.
I didn't use that.
And yet, there are PPC members, there are pastors in charge of those areas. What I want to advise is that as a church and as a diocese, let's take steps to take proper inventory of all our lands, wherever they are.
We have.
That's good.
That was done by Bishop when he was in charge of lands and estates.
That's
and Father Joe continued it. So
right.
We have.
So the follow-up is that you realize that most of the lands were acquired at the time you mentioned 1946. Those days, lands can be acquired 2 persons, give a snap and it's done.
Yes.
So I'm happy you are saying that you've taken inventory of those lands.
No, not that I did. We have. But
Very
we have
good.
always had.
All right.
Yes.
Then moving on, I want to also suggest that we belong to various parishes, outstations and the like. Let us take interest in the church lands, do the little that we can to protect the land that we have. I want to cite my home parish, St. Francis of Assisi. Father was there. When we were getting towards the valley, where they have built the Mozambique Christo Church.
Yes.
It used to be the land of the church.
Yes.
And then you take the right-hand side, there was a place we call the Kumeka Valley. They have planted, the man actually encroached upon the land. He built a huge plantation of coconut. It means that
where were the church?
That's what point I'm making.
Okay.
That let's take as members of the church interest in the church property, and this can only be done when the pastors bring along the members to take. Still at Achimtafo, where the field is. When the last time I went there, our doctor is here, he's the church president.
You know, excuse me, let us give the generals.
Yes.
So that at least the general advice is given to all of us. The specifics, if you have any problem, we can talk about it.
Very well, Father.
Thank you.
Then coming on the individual basis.
Yes.
We are talking about land, and I hope the interest is there for all of us. It's unfortunate most of your colleague pastors are not here. So individually, we also encounter similar challenges in acquisition of land,
Yes.
where we have acquired lands that are not properly documented.
Yes.
What would be your advice on that?
Okay, so now quickly. Now, and that goes to all of us. See this. We are in the communities. We know where the community is developing towards. We know where some church members travel from to come to church. We know that if we are able to acquire a plot, 2 plots of land here, we can have an outstation here. It used to be the spirit of our forebears, our grandfathers, our grandmothers. Why don't we have it as up and coming people? Where, we can build a church here. We can have a church here. We can build a church here. And we sit down, excuse my language, as church executives. When we came to meet, let us maintain it and we will not add anything to it. Then with our tenure will expire, another one comes and expires. I think that it is important as church executives to identify where development is moving towards. Advise your pastor, Father, can we get a plot of land or 2 here to help those who come from this area? So at least we can plant the church very close to Christ faithful. I give you an example, and I dare say that the Church of Pentecost, have you seen their visibility? It's called visibility. They are everywhere. And they don't even mind having maybe like a matches box in the corner there, and they are okay. What are we doing? What are we doing? Look, I've traveled from Agavenia. Those of you who use that stretch to Asamai, to the Somanyan Road, there's no Catholic presence on that stretch. You can count 10 Pentecost churches on that stretch. Is it under Agiso or is it under Inkrakai? And what are we doing? So please, Synod Fathers, I am very passionate about these things. 1 plot, 2 plots. This area, we can have a church here. Father, I think we need to get a church here. Recently, Tafo, what's the name of the St. Francis, Fasisi. Wonderful. They want to pick their points. When to do the search, they are free. Some, we are buying it. At least. So visibility in our evangelization mission is very, very important. On this note. Oh, individuals, when you want to acquire land, it's also very important to see a lawyer for help, at least now, for the church.
Recently, we heard that the Ghana Education Service is sending surveyors around to our schools, and they've started surveying our lands and demarcating whatever. Please, you PPC members who are here, or reps who are here, go and talk to the teachers, the head teachers. They should not allow any said person access to our lands, the school lands. They belong to the diocese or the Catholic Church. They are, as it were, intruding and doing what is wrong, because the schools are on the lands that belong to the church. So please open your eyes, tell your parishioners that this should not be allowed, and the priest must be informed as soon as possible so that we take the necessary steps against it.
I'm grateful. We'll take two last ones, and then go. Two. I have that instruction from my moderator.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Father. I am Francis Ejare.
Yes, sir.
And I am coming from Akimoda.
Okay.
My Reverend Father is Reverend Father Stephen Asare.
Absolutely.
We have a very vast land stretching from Frimpong Manso
yes.
towards the boundaries of Achimswedru.
Yes.
All that I want to know is whether our lands are in safe hands. Thank you very much.
Safe hands as in?
Registered.
Oh, that...
Because I have seen people farming on the lands. Some of them are not Catholics.
I have come there before. We went to the boundaries of that land with Father Stephen.
Right.
And I told him they should bar all persons farming on the land pending an agreement with them.
Okay.
I'm here to hear from them.
Meanwhile, from the discussions we had in the afternoon,
yes,
my friend and I, who came here as delegates,
yes,
we have taken a decision to go and start farming on the land.
Yes.
At least in a way of protecting the lands. We believe that as we go, there wouldn't be any obstruction, and they'll give us the opportunity, because as we are going to do it, we are going to use that opportunity to protect our lands. Thank you very much.
I wish that there is somebody directly there. There's somebody directly there who should give you authorization so to do. So, yeah, so I would direct you to work with your pastor, speak to him about it, and he needs to give you the authorization. I mean, and he would have to confer with us before that authorization is given. And then, once he gives you the go-ahead, you're good to go. Yeah, if you have any challenges, my doors are always open and would.
Father, please, concerning the family lands.
Yes.
Some family have a family surveyor who always lead the family by selling the land. Is it normal?
It is normal, but it might not be good for you. I'll explain. So if I am buying a land from Monsignor Abankwa, and they tell me that they have a family surveyor who does the work, okay? Now, if you read the schedule very well, they'll tell you maybe measuring 20 feet on 0. This bearing, more or less. Okay. I will not, if I'm buying it, I would have to go with my own surveyor to pick the points for me. What if the point that were taken by the family surveyor is not the site? It's not the area that they are selling for me. It's another place. And that comes on it in court. And then they tell me that, I don't trust anybody. Let my own surveyor do my work for me. I'll go with him, show him the points, I'll be with him, he picks the point, he gives me the site plan, I write my own indenture as a lawyer, I stamp it, I have it registered. So don't always err on the side of caution when you are buying a land. Don't trust anybody. Think that everybody is a bad person and give the benefit of the doubt to yourself. Then you're good to go.
I am Uno Solomon, speaking from Azisawa.
It's the very last one, please.
Okay. Please, this one goes to my lord. About the demarcation of the school lands. Now, I can see that they have done it already. Yes, in my school, I see like that. They came to do the demarcation and send it to the office. So please, what can we do next?
And may I please ask, was it done with the consent of the head teacher and your pastor?
Yeah, the pastor is excluded. The instruction is this. They have given all the head teachers and the teacher to come for a workshop. So after the workshop, then the head teacher and that teacher will come and demarcate the land of the school. So I am teaching in Anglican school. So my head teacher and the teacher who went for the workshop came for that demarcation. Then my RC school, the head I was passing there one day. I saw the head teacher, and then the people demarcating without the parish priest consent.
We will come there.
Then seriously.
So you mean that your pastor, the parish priest, Father Kabute, is not aware?
It's not consent.
No.
It's not aware. It's not aware.
I'm asking the question.
Please, it's not aware. It's not aware because...
Let me repeat my question again. Please, one house. So, do you know or do you not know if Father Kabute is aware?
No, please. Because I am talking this because...
do you know or do you not know?
Oh, I did not ask him.
Okay, thank you.
And then two. The second question.
Yeah, please go ahead with the second one, please. We are all yes. One house, please. One house.
Asisawa Church is of.
Yes.
One of the outstations, Jomua.
Yes.
There was an issue concerning the land.
Okay.
That in the olden days, a family gave out the land to the church.
Yes.
Then, when the church is now growing, a family member has now come to build on the land, saying that it doesn't belong to the church.
I'm hearing this for the first time from your lips. Let your pastor get me involved, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
On this note, on this as one note, I wish to sincerely thank all of you. One house. I wish to sincerely thank all of you for your audience. And I'm speaking to you, and I'm sure that I've spoken to all others who are in the parishes, that these lands are our inheritance. We cannot sell it, give it out, or sit down aloof as though they mean nothing to us. Posterity will judge us. Let's live by it. Let us live and protect what belongs to the church. It is the patrimony of the church. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ears.
Thank you.
to our learned pastor and lawyer. Thank you very much. And as I said, land issues are of interest. Land issues are of interest to everyone, and we can take very simple steps to protect our lands. I guess, and I want to presume, that all of us here have paid our annual dues. Someone is scratching his head, and I know why I'm saying that. It's 60 cedis a year. A single block is sold for 5 cedis. So in my parish, the land is there. There's an issue about it. I announced in church and I said, if you want us to keep that land and protect it, just give me 2 blocks. You'll be surprised. Now we have about 500 blocks, and we are going to wall the land. What are we going to do? 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet. And we give it to the societies over time. Is it that? So if we are really interested, we can also do something. You can project and say, well, this year, I'll give 50 blocks towards protecting our lands. You can put a pillar here and there, then we plant the trees, as it's said. Land issues cannot be exhausted with just a session like this. But we have learned a lot, and it's just the beginning. Invite the lawyer to come to your parish. But whenever he comes, make sure that you pay his TNT. Take a good note of that. Thank you very much for your participation. And now we will do the evaluation.
Thank you, fathers, for your contributions. We're going straight to evaluations. Fathers and mothers. I was talking to the Reverend Fathers. So, evaluation. We're talking about food. Quality of the food. Good, very good, excellent. Very good, excellent. Okay. I hope you are writing. Good. Quantity. Excellent. Good. Then let's move on to accommodation. Your lodging place. How was it? So as for mosquitoes, they were coming to welcome you. Don't fight them. They were their guests, so they wanted to welcome you. The space that you slept, was it okay for you? Okay, so that is very good. The double beds. Sorry. So Father, bring